Good morning, Peter. Benny.
Good morning. It's 9 o'clock.
What's up?
It's 9 p.m. here, yeah.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Just keep tubing. Hey, the tubes have actually ended up being. I know that there was a few sideways glances at what will the tubes be worth, and we're staking. The staking rewards are obviously looking pretty healthy now. All right. So should we get started? Where do we start? Wen Game.
So Friday is the pre-registration XP. We're hoping to release the game in 2 weeks after that. So before the end of November. Those on Android can start signing up on Friday as well. The other one is we are hoping to release the RFOX ID page for those who've played in the closed beta as well. So those who participate in the closed beta and have coins that are supposed to be transferred if you qualify and have 250 games and above, please start signing up on Friday once the RFOX ID games page is up, so that we can start migrating your coins over from the closed beta to the open beta. And then for those who qualify for the Slammer, we'll transfer the Slammers into those accounts as well.
Thank you. Rebrand at the end of this month. Will RedFOX Labs get a new name also? So I can tell you that we will be referred to as something that you're already very familiar with. So it's not like a full rebrand where we start calling ourselves Nike or something like that. It's much more of a, and we'll explain it as we come. I'm trying to learn how to keep the surprise, but
It's going to be called Bongos.
yeah, but it's something that you're very used to, and it will make perfectly logical sense to you. Most of you have already guessed it anyways. Will the Bored Ape Yacht Club KOGs from the Mint Lab be available in-game?
Yep, all first, second, third special editions, Arena KOGs, and Mint Lab KOGs will be available in the game. All you gotta do is transfer them from your pickup wallet that you've been using into the game wallet that you will get once you sign up for the RFOX ID account.
Did we release a sneak peek or something like that? Or we have not?
Of what?
Of the Bored Ape KOGs.
We did.
In game, yeah.
Any news on the special edition? 2 weeks ago, when I came down with COVID, I thought the release was soon, any closer to the IP being known. I actually let it slip the last time I spoke about it, right, Pete? But people were not paying attention, so
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, that thing went out. But I think no one paid attention.
yeah.
Or maybe they're not familiar with the.
Yep. So
the
just to,
thing.
I'll just share a bit more. Like this special edition is a fundraiser for a very special foundation. So we need to tread carefully in terms of the PR as well as the legal side of it, because they involve some very important people, but also focused on a very, very important agenda for their foundation. So we should be able to release it soon. The one managing the project is Phil and his team. If you guys are not familiar with Phil, Philip Kanyuan is the head of business development, and he manages all the partnerships that we have with external partners who will be coming into our ecosystem. So this will possibly include the next batch of KOGs that we will be minting for Mint Labs, but also partnerships with very well-known IPs and special IPs that we want to focus on as well. But I hope to release it probably by in a week or so. I know you guys keep hearing next week from me, but the thing is, there's some things that we push back because of we wanted to focus on the game, to make sure that we hit our deadlines, and our target is before the end of November. If we transfer tubes to in-game wallet, we will lose our staking rewards. I think the mechanism for staking is still related to ownership of the KOGs, right, Pete? So basically, if it's in a wallet, they will still be able to see them. I just am not sure whether you'll be able to use them for the tournament when it comes out, but we will get a bit more understanding around how those things work after the game comes out. Tournament will not be released when open beta comes out, only arena, so we need a bit more time on tournament. But right from the get-go, you can already start your play to earn experience and win some NFTs as well.
When will the tickets for owning a Bored Ape Yacht Club? So what we've talked about CCRY is there's a couple of projects that we've got coming up that will be that will be released. So it's a matter of which one's ready first, but ultimately it's not going to be very long. Next month, and we'll explain other things that are coming up that you'll be able to mint, which are not released yet. Since you are very excited and proud of the gaming quarter, any hints re what's going to be different? I think, Face, the main difference is look and feel, and some of the BAs have already put two and two together. So I think we've used terminology in the past about what we're doing, and I think that actually gives some strong indications. If you've been watching Raupal and Elio Waves and all of the big guys, they've been talking about the combination of a company that is building a metaverse if they have a gaming division or buy a gaming company or have some sort of ability to be able to combine those two together, they will be far more successful. So I think that's something that we will talk to you about very shortly. Second land sale happening this month. Any marquee clients announcements before the sale? Yes, sir. Yes, the answer is yes. Very soon. Well before. There.
I think Dejan had a question related to open beta. Dejan, when we release open beta, it will not include tournaments. Like I mentioned just now, the focus is on having arena up and running. The reason why we're holding back tournament is also because the staking system or the pooling system is still being implemented, so it will take some time. One of the reasons why we also will benefit from a slight delay of the tournament system is that we want to make sure there's a large amount of people playing already when tournament system is implemented. So a month or so after game launch, you should be able to see the tournament system. It goes in seasons, so we'll announce season 1 soon.
Can you tell us if the interest for the next land sale is bigger than the first one? Yes, but obviously we want. I think by the time I've said this since day one. By the time we get to the fourth, I think it's going to be really good. The partners or the people coming in, and a few more of the people that will be revealed will definitely build anticipation and hype. And if any of the pundits are correct, it does look like a very healthy December. Those who have been around for a long time in the space will know that the market movements look like we're getting set up for a very, very big run at the end of the year. So I think that the metaverse and especially the gaming hype will increase. Looks like gaming, like my honest, humble opinion is that the metaverse will bring people's attention in, and gaming will be the thing that's the catalyst for growth for the fourth quarter for all projects. So yes, the answer is absolutely yes. But how much more or how much bigger will depend completely on market conditions, as it always does. But we've got a proper position. That's 100% for sure. Last year, you said you were in relation with the big trading companies or managing company entering the stock markets. My question was, how would you do that? How would it be traded? What's the potential? How the entry to the stock market? Your goal is to be top 500. The requirements of the goals to achieve the goal. Not 100% sure what you mean by the first part. What we've always said is that we'd like to be considered to be a Fortune 500, be compared against real world companies. And I think that's an achievable type of a goal. As far as, I think what you might be referring to is the fact that we said that the Vietnamese is a joint stock company, which means that it's able to be stock listed. maybe that's what you're referring to. If you're asking how that happens, then technically any company that has enough revenue or income can apply to be stock listed on the Vietnamese stock exchange. Not a very particularly busy or active stock exchange. There's a lot more out there, but it would allow us to do that. Is that better now? Can you still hear me, Pete?
I can still hear you, but it's robot-y.
Still?
It's
Let me go back to data. Now?
yeah. No,
Better?
worse.
No,
Oh, God.
it's worse.
Hang on.
I came across a question during, I think would be the first couple of questions during the interview that Benny did with one of our community members. Was a really good interview. But one of the questions asked is do we have any plans on allowing the users to use the NFTs they've earned in the game on a marketplace and be able to use RFOX to purchase and sell it. That's the function, the intended function of the marketplace that we're building. So those who are in the closed beta, if you look at one of the sections in the game, you see marketplace, which is supposed to be coming soon. That's the place where you actually can trade the KOGs that you want to buy and sell the KOGs that you want to sell to anyone in the community. So we want to design a system where you can also be able to trade on a marketplace on the web as well. But we should be able to make a light version of it on the app for convenience sake. We're still trying to sort out the first few parts of the game first, and then marketplace should come soon after.
Okay, how's that, guys? Just wondering if using the Whitelabel NFT platform to launch a project collection, can it be used to launch on Immutable X? So we have talked about, Degen, about an Immutable X.
We lost you
robot.
again.
Oh, for God's sakes, really?
Yeah, Zen, I'm going to take that the question. As of right now, no. Yes, I understand that it's layer 2 on ETH, but it is a different platform, so it involves building the hooks to it. So as of right now, the code that we got is for Wax and Ethereum only. We're looking at a bunch of other chains. Immutable X is one of them, alongside the other usual suspects.
Am I back now? Otherwise, I'm going to hang up and call back.
You are back.
So the Immutable X has basically been made to integrate with platforms like ours, and the guys are keen to do that. So I've just touched base with them last week, and I'll follow up again this week. Still waiting ID launch. Yes, George 74. So ID, maybe Pete, you can take that one as well for the integration for RFOX ID and TV.
ID has been launched. We used it for the play to eat. And this Friday, when Fadz releases the signups for the people who have the 100 games and 250 games, they will be using ID as well.
Yeah, just
It's
to add on
there.
to what
It's just not very noticeable. It's not like we're gonna say, "Oh, we're not gonna do a launch per se," but it's already launched.
Yeah,
You
just to add on
don't see it yet.
to what he is saying. Even if you didn't play the closed beta, you can still sign up. Those who played the closed beta, just please use the same login method that you use for closed beta as well if you qualify for the slammer and the coins. Because if you signed up in closed beta using Google Play and then you decide to sign up for your RFOX ID account using Facebook, we won't be able to match you unless your email address is also the same. So just be very aware that we need this to be the same login method that you use for closed beta. We'll get the comms team to send out some social media messages around this as well, but it will save us a lot of time and troubleshooting if you guys follow this very simple guide.
I just want to add, especially for those who used Apple ID, because iOS 15 implemented this private relay. So if you use Apple ID during closed beta, you should use Apple ID as well to sign up on Friday.
Have we seen a list of the first shop land buyers and their business plans for their shop, or is it deliberately kept confidential? Some of it's confidential. Some of it's about to come out, Prego. So we've had some people come forward, obviously. Some people are waiting. We've also had a shuffle up as well. So we've had we moved one person forward. So that'll be, they were going to be in one quarter and now they're in another quarter. So we're going to start to announce some more of these people very, very shortly. Quant's network overledger for interoperability solution between different chains. Actually, Joker, that's just give us a very short period of time to address that question, because we're dealing with someone who can provide something very similar to that. Any ETA on tools? Tools are being developed. We want to make sure that the tools do what they're supposed to do, and we're trying to make sure that there's as much configuration possibilities as possible. We've already told you that there's 5 templates. We want to make sure that we have everything integrated and that there's lots of flexibility and lots of our biggest issue with everything, same with the white label, is we want to make sure that when things go out that we don't have to hold people's hands. If we have to hold people's hands, it slows us down. So we have to make sure that everything's working. So everything is in progress. We're about, like, one of the questions that I got asked, a mail in, was when is the next view of the vault? So we can give you some updated visuals. We have, and we're very, very close to showing you. We already have visuals for the gaming quarter, but we need to. We're doing the ad campaign and putting that all together now. So that's pretty exciting. Will tools be up before the shop sale in December? Good question. I will get back to you as soon as we have a clear, definitive answer, but they are coming. The ad's different to the previous ones and also targeted to a different audience. Yes, so the ads are different. The ad will be catered towards focusing on the gaming quarter. As far as to a different audience, yes, also to a different audience. We did learn Ninja, and we're also focusing more on the people that are crypto savvy, that are understand the space and the industry. And as you'll see, things like the Mint Lab and things that we introduce are focused more towards people that are savvy, and that's important at this particular point in time. Put some Vault Gaming quarter ads on Facebook would be hilarious. That is pretty good. We actually, obviously, with the guys that from My Media, which has now been rebranded to RFOX Media, they can also get those out there, can't they? That is pretty good. They've got 13 million followers, so they could get quite a few views as well. It'd be lovely to get a Facebook ad for the Vault Gaming quarter on Facebook that gets more views than Facebook's advertisements of the Metaverse. Standing by with our Meta Quests 2s when we can get a look-see. Yeah, so we have said that we'll do competition winners first of all, and we will, as soon as humanly possible, we will allow some people to have a sneak peek behind the curtain and go through. So how we currently do it at the moment is we get APKs and we can actually load those, and we can have a cruise through if we've got our headsets. But as far as public is concerned, obviously we're making sure that things are fairly well developed before we take people through. Any good exchange with things coming up? Don't like only KuCoin steering our token price currently. We are talking to the big tier exchanges. We always do. I think I can say what happened, Pete. One of the prerequisites that we talked about was to also get to get transactional volume. We had a lot of transactional volume on Binance Smart Chain through the farms that we ran, but they were not being recorded for whatever reason. How they do their tracking, they didn't track a lot of those transactions. So we're trying to get those retrospectively looked at now. Our Binance Smart Chain wallets have hit, I think there are about 580 less wallets on the Binance side than there are on the Ethereum side now. So we will have a flippening very shortly. So we're doing everything in our power to make sure. Will the rewards for staking LP tokens for RFOX VFOX Pool continue after Vault launch? Yeah, so we plan to do ongoing pools, and we have talked about the fact that we're looking at introducing other tokens as well as rewards for going into the pools. So that's something that we're capable. The capabilities there, and we're having some meetings tomorrow that will take us closer to knowing if we can do that very quickly. As far as a partner is concerned, I mean, as far as tokens are concerned. The first quarter Vault opens. Will that be available for both VR and phones? I think, Pete, you might know that better than me.
Just thinking about what the timeline is looking like. Hold on. The VR one will go first for sure. When the first quarter, it's gonna be VR first, and then I think it's PC and phones in that order, I believe. But
So
not
Craig,
all at the same time. It's one after another.
So, Crago, we're working with the games team now in relation to utility and use cases for KOGs in the metaverse. As far as any type of rides or activities or races or anything like that, that's still being worked out now. We want to also involve and get on the quartermasters as quickly as we possibly can, because the quartermasters will have a large amount of what do you want to call it? They'll police a lot of stuff. So we need to get them in quickly. Have the updated roadmaps come out? Okay, that's a great question, TKL. The updated roadmaps are ready. They've been ready for some period of time. I did get asked that as well on another mailing question, was when roadmap. So the roadmaps are ready. They are obviously also going to be displayed on the new website, which is coming out at the end of this month. There's been no delays to that. So the website is all up and running. And now it's just a matter of, do we put it out before? What you'll see is, and notice, is that we're starting to we'll update the messaging on the old websites. So they will just be wording and verbiage changes to tide us over until we actually get the new website out. And the new website will have all of that. So it's just a matter of whether we load those up to the new website, or we also put them onto the old website as well. When will future KOGs burns take place? They're happening right now, mate.
No, Benny, we haven't burned yet. We're still buying.
Right.
But we'll announce once we are about to burn. We'll announce. We'll make a big party of it.
Yeah,
Probably
but
during this AMA.
What I mean is, it's ongoing. The fact that we're still buying KOGs to burn, and the thing is that the number of those is just getting ridiculous. I think I don't know how many we're up to now. It's more than 7,000.
Yeah, my bot has carpal tunnel syndrome.
Will RFOX plan on having more presence in the NFT conferences or Metaverse conferences that pop up and around the globe? Yes, XP. I'm actually one of the main speakers at the CoinGecko conference on the 18th of November, I think it is. And we're about to do a big push, because we are going to obviously have Chasing Space. We've got another few projects coming out. And we've also got some stuff coming out from our side as well. So you'll see a big push in the NFT space. What if you could use your Vault shop to host business conferences? Companies pay top dollar for venues to offer something. That's already happening, XP. So again, one of the partners that we're just about to announce, that will be one of their main modus operandis, is to have conferences, meetups, gatherings, all of that type of stuff. So I think that's makes perfect sense, mate. And I think that when we talk to a lot of other companies, their first thought process behind a metaverse is, and I don't know whether it's due to the Facebook ads or whatever, this is a meeting place, a chance for us to have a virtual office, a virtual meetup area. They're thinking of it very much from the perspective that you're talking about, mate. And most importantly, we've had some interesting businesses that are saying that they've lost the face-to-face contact with their clients, and they've lost that interpersonal contact they have in a shop. And so they're looking at trying to work out how to replicate that in a virtual space. With the new marketing in terms of language and messaging, would it be possible to get feedback from the community to see if we're on the right track? So we've had a ton of feedback. We just did a public survey, and we got heaps of feedback on that. But all of the new messaging is much more centered around Metaverse and clearly explaining how things click together, as opposed to Venture Builder and some of the old verbiage that we had. We had some absolutely awesome feedback and comments in the surveys that we did, and we've been able to incorporate a lot of that, plus a lot of the new messaging that really does break down and explain things in very simple terms, focuses on how you can get involved, how you can purchase, the onboarding side of things, and decomplicating and simplifying the messages that we're putting out there. So we're really thankful to all the people that took the time to fill out the surveys and to give us their feedback, and a lot of it was very valuable information for us. So yes, so now we've locked that in. So that has to be locked in because now we have to go out to the designers, get the website done, and we're on the clock because we've got, 21 days left or so to have the websites and everything out. So that's been back and forwards for about six or 7 weeks now. Do you have any prediction regarding how many regular not blockchain companies will be in the vault at the start? I can have a guess. So when we fully get going, my prediction will be around about, and this is also including, this is only based on the data that we do have, not the ones that we don't. I would say non-blockchain or not affiliated with blockchain in some way, about 30%. I think that we're seeing that the blockchain companies are really taking to this much more like a duck to water. And another question I got was in relation to NFTs, have you been approached by any NFT funds? We're actually getting approached to do NFT funds, not to actually not buy NFT funds so much. So I think that the reason that is because if we're doing a lot of shops in the virtual space and they do NFTs, it makes sense that we're going to get to know what's coming and when those companies and brands are going to be doing NFT drops and all the rest of it. So fair warning, I think you will probably see myself and maybe some other people on the team. We may end up being advisors on some NFT funds, which I'm not going to say anything more about. You can put 2 and 2 together, but that would definitely help us as far as bringing investments into the virtual space and into the ecosystem. There's a big demand for funds at the moment. So yes, when AMA with Piyush, I can definitely ask. I'm sure he'd be happy to. Have a chat to you. I mean, obviously, it's good that he takes a little bit of time to get his head around it. It's a big imposition for somebody to come in and learn all about what we do in blockchain and all the rest of it. But so far, so good. Any marquee clients that are looking at the vault also looking at the streaming app and selling through it? I think that the more appropriate answer to that question, Hanford, would be, I think that there wouldn't be many of the clients that are coming in that wouldn't be able to utilize it. I know they can, but has any interest been expressed? Yes, we've got, but the majority of people that have expressed interest in doing that, as you know, we made no bones about it. A lot of people still don't know about that, but we did an affiliate agreement with Lazada, and we've talked to a number of the operators here, travel agencies, lots of different companies that are prepared to and want to use the app when it's ready. So I think we'll have no problems there. As far as the shops are concerned, the people in there, they're asking, what we've had is the question of how will it be integrated into the vault? So will there be the possibility to use it through billboard advertisements or in-shop advertisements? How will they actually use that? I did a speculative buy of some hoverboards from Viva a few months ago. Will these be operational cross-chain in the vault, or will RFOX only hoverboards be allowed? Some of that stuff's still being sorted out, mate, because as we've explained before, it also depends on rights. Like some of these projects have the right to Back to the Future or Smurfs or whatever it might be. And so the really important thing is that are they allowed to actually transfer the IP? That's the first question. Second question is, technically, is it possible to do that? But the whole idea of a metaverse is to be as interoperable as possible. So the intent for us, and this is something that we've actually we keep getting positive feedback on, is a lot of these so-called metaverses are starting up and they're very much maximalist in their view. It's only for one blockchain. They want it to be very closed environment, but that kind of defeats the definition of what a metaverse is. They have to be interoperable. So that's what's really important, is that it is interoperable. Can we make RFOX deflationary by burning a fraction of fees collected in the vault? We've already burnt, I think the official count, what is it, Pete? 1988 now, I believe. It's around about 1988. So we have done burns. We have stated that we burn based on the sales. That was the case in the first sale and will be again. But the fees collected in the vault, there's that structure goes to the VFOX holders. I don't think they'd be very happy if we burned their payment. All going well, is RedFOX Labs going to have at least limited function in most of the business ecosystem in 4 months? Yes. Yes. 100%. And our focus also, I think I've mentioned this before. If I haven't, then, or you haven't seen those interviews or whatever, one of the things is the Whitelabel NFT platform, out of everything at the moment as far as things not out, so not talking about the game or KOGs or anything like that, the Whitelabel NFT platform is the thing that I spend the majority of my time talking to external parties about. The general consensus is, which is kind of interesting, and happy to answer any questions on that because we spend our days swimming in these pools, is that we're in a very deep NFT winter and a big pullback. But the consensus also is that NFTs haven't really started yet, and there's still a very small number of people who actively trade, collect, and buy and sell NFTs. And the firm belief is that we haven't even really started. And I can say this because it's not under NDA or anything like that. I've just had 2 calls tonight with Hong Kong-based firms that are trying to work out how to get Chinese investment money into NFTs. China hasn't really got into the NFTs yet, as you'd probably know if you know the scene. They're not allowed to, and there's a lot of money that wants to get into NFTs, and Hong Kong seems like the right vessel for that. So there's a twofold approach, and if we are smart and we do the right type of partnerships, it would mean that people would potentially partner with us and use the RFOX Whitelabel platform to be able to produce NFTs that would therefore open up to new markets. And it must be opening up a little bit because you've seen companies like Loopring. We were, and we still are, on their second layer solution. We were approached to do NFTs, but Loopring couldn't do NFTs, and now they are. So it's definitely changing. The charity collection going on in the Discord, how does it make you feel to see how awesome some of the KOGs are? BIM, we've always said our community's amazing, and I would have to say, quite honestly, there's been trials, tribulations, ups, downs, challenges, the same with every project. And I think the one thing that I can be extremely proud of is that even if people have had wavered faith, questioned, when I say money, as far as getting KOGs going or getting something given to them to get on their way, there is no shortage of people that have spent time, effort, and have put in out of their own pockets to help the people coming in. And I think that that's something that we can be very, very happy and proud of. Do you think the VFOX holders will benefit from blockchain companies as much as they will from standard businesses? That's a very good question, mate. What do you think, Pete?
Probably equal.
And George74, that's not a stupid question at all. I have to actually stop and think. I've handballed that to Pete. To be very clear and honest, I think that a lot of the traditional businesses haven't still worked out how to do stuff in the blockchain space, and they still haven't worked out how to do stuff in the NFT space either. We still have a lot of I spend a lot of time talking to companies about what's possible, and quite often it's it blows people's minds when we explain things that you guys in this channel would take for granted now, because you've spent time learning how the crypto space works. You understand NFTs, you understand trading, you understand blockchain. If you heard the questions they asked, and if you give them a straight answer and you explained it to them, it just confuses them, because there's so many options open to them that they don't know which one to take, and they don't know how to take it, and they don't know whether it's legal, and they don't know whether it's a tax violation. They don't know what regulations, what setup they have to have. And this is why we need to hurry to bring out tools like the Whitelabel platform, because we can't hold people's hands. Otherwise, we're never going to get anything done. So we have to really, really work out how to help them. Has any progress been made to onboard future vaults, so once the first is rolled out, RFOX can start ramping up to service the rest of the globe? So XP, the talks have been in relation to effectively mirroring what is already in existence, but we've already even worked it out in our projections. If you have a look at some of the publications that we put out in relation to financial projections, we also put down number of projected users, and therefore due to populations in places like Indonesia and Vietnam, we actually stated that it would need additional amounts of shops. But talking to the design teams, we talked about taking the same format and base, because it's going to be a lot quicker for us to roll out and deploy in the local levels, and then changing things like languages, colors, looks and feel, and try and give it a local flavor. And the reason that's important is because the questions we keep getting asked as well is, if I'm in Indonesia, can I go to the vault in the Philippines? And we've talked about, would be cool to have passport systems and all the rest of it. But if we want to make it so that if you go to a vault in the Philippines, that you have a distinctly different feel to the vault in Indonesia, so that it feels very local to where you are. And that's something that's very engaging. Someone asked earlier, and I missed the question, so I apologize. When regular shops open up, what will happen? How do you keep people coming back? A very robust reward system, and it's mentioned in our latest article. I don't know if it's already gone out today or it's going out later, but talks about the fact that since the beginning with the cashback streaming app, we've talked about doing a cashback, and if that reward cashback system is implemented across the vault and across the ecosystem, it's going to bring people back. So we've got some very strong hooks. Do you believe in the expanding cycles theory? That's a whole another phone call, TKL. I'd be very, very happy to do a completely different call on that. I've got some pretty strong views on that. Very strong. We did get asked the other day if we can do some general market calls, but I think that's what you do with your DGen hour, right? Is that right, Pete?
That's what we used to do. I've been kind of missing those.
Bunch of slackers.
I do apologize for that. Yeah, I know. Hanford's been calling me out like almost all the time.
All right, so I'm going to write it in there, and you can vote. Question regarding sales of NFTs in the vault. My understanding is that an NFT can be showcased in the vault and listed for sale, but also be listed, for example, on OpenSea. So what happens when the sale is outside the metaverse, i.e. buy direct from OpenSea? I'm assuming the asset will no longer appear in the vault and no transaction fee as the sale was outside the vault. so I think the easiest way, you probably haven't answered it yet, Pete. No. So the easiest way to explain that is anything that happens through the vault and through our system, we'll make sure that we collect the fee. Full stop. Otherwise, it defeats the purpose of us having a business. But it's a good question. And we look to move towards having our own liquid marketplace as soon as the volume allows for that. So the plan is not to always need to fall back on third parties. Ruby went on a rampage buying a bunch of cheap KOGs that were listed. Not a bad idea with all the burning that's going on, mate. If we didn't all have carpal tunnel syndrome and we could get a script that worked on these dodgy APIs that people provide, we'd be able to move a lot quicker. We've actually got a manual.
The bot has carpal tunnel syndrome, Benny.
The bot does, yeah. The actual we're doing it manually at the moment, which is why it's taking a while, because there's a stupid problem with the APIs. I don't know if it's the same as what I think it's the same as what Pete's getting. The bloody the KOGs are listed twice. Some of the KOGs. So when you go to exact the purchase, it says there's an exception error or something and throws an error. It's very, very annoying.
Yeah, that's not the biggest part. The biggest problem is the API says that there's a sale, but there's no sale because and there's a few sales that's always there that the API doesn't reset. The sale ID doesn't exist. You can't buy the KOGs, but for some reason the API returns it and says it's there, which is bloody irritating.
Absolutely. XP story came out. Story came out recently about Nike and that they've been spending the last few years getting ready for digital wearables and jumping into the space. Are they an exception to the rest of the companies that could come into the space, or are you seeing more blue chip companies setting up similar blockchain teams? Do you prefer a company like Nike who is doing research or large companies that have zero knowledge? Mate, I don't have any preference. We want to be able to service them all. If we can give tools to the companies that have zero knowledge, then we're going to benefit hugely, aren't we? But you'll see that some of the companies that we're going to be talking to you about over the coming weeks are a combination of both of those. I think that Nike are an exception. If Nike actually are, if that story is true, I think a lot of companies have learned quickly and have partnered with very experienced blockchain companies, and they're leveraging off of stories that they have. They've got teams or experience or something like that. When that's and I'm not saying that's the case for Nike, but I'm saying that there are a number of projects recently who came out and said that they've been working for years behind the scenes on stuff, but they weren't actually working for years. They were working with teams that have been working for years to implement that. But we do have, I think Dave's already hinted that Void Cyber's already talking to a number of projects from the traditional space. Nike was one of my first thoughts for a company to work in the Vault when the Vault was announced. You'll see, Tom Cav, why that can't happen very shortly. Benny, this has likely been asked, but are we close to a date release for the next land sale? Yes, would be great to capitalize on current sentiment for the Metaverse purchases. Tom Cav, I think you would. It would be fair for you to assume that we of all people know that better than anybody, and we are 100% for the first time. We're in a position where we're set up to capitalize on timings, and you will see that is what we're doing. We will capitalize on the timing 100%. We are not going to miss out on this. We're not going to stuff this up. We're not going to miss out on our opportunity. Way more people are starting to talk about RFOX. What other underestimated, misunderstood projects are going to explode soon? I think Adelaide, people haven't even looked at VFOX yet. I don't understand it. But we've also got as many people saying, "Do not get VFOX listed anywhere." I'm still accumulating or converting. I think how many times have I seen the story of people saying that they're staking RFOX and then turning profits into VFOX? But last I checked, Pete, this shocked the hell out of me. There was 1,700, which doesn't sound like a lot, but there was 1,700 wallets holding VFOX. And if you consider that there's a major VFOX payout pool at the moment, I don't understand that. People might say 1,700 holders, that's not very many or whatever, but that's 1,700 people not in a pool.
I don't understand a lot of these numbers because, like, okay, wait a minute, you're holding VFOX when there's a pool going on. So I don't understand it either, but I decide to just leave it and move along with life.
I think
We got
VFOX is like
1786 addresses.
yeah, see?
And,
When I last
and of
checked, it
course,
was
one of them is the I think there are like 4 contracts that are contract addresses, but there's still 1780 people out there that's still holding VFOX.
What about the 1.5 million VFOX that's still sitting in the old pool?
Oh, that's because no one withdraw.
Exactly.
That one they were too lazy to withdraw.
That's crazy.
It's
but Benny has a very important point. When I brought that up to Benny, maybe they don't want to take a hit on their tax or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're just leaving it there because if they withdraw, then they'll get taxed, right?
Interesting.
Maybe they want to wait for next year. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, it's a lot of VFOX, but that's the other thing. We do know that there are a number of people that are saying, I've got VFOX and I don't want to put it in a pool. I can't earn, and that's. I think that people that have had tax implications or understand the tax laws understand why VFOX was actually done the way it was done, and we think about that stuff pretty deeply. Tom Cav, fantastic to hear that, Benny. I think you're going to realise how serious we are about all of this over the next 2 or 3 weeks. I think you're going to know exactly how serious we are. But we've already announced that we've brought on new people, especially in C-level roles. We're recruiting as fast as we possibly can, but we're also not recruiting so fast that we bring on the wrong people. That is something that we're, there's no guaranteed way. That was the other question I got asked. How do you know that you're bringing on the right people for the roles? You can never know. You can only, and the thing is that a person who might be an absolute gun at their current role or whatever can come across and completely stumble. We're working with people in our company. There's people in our company that I know very well and that I've worked with for years and years and years. And a lot of people can't actually handle startups. A lot of people don't like to come to work and know that the plan changes or that you have to pivot or you have to move. Requires a particular type of person, and it's not an easy person to deal with. And one of our close people to our project, Joe Torfik, he said the other day, and he's heard this being mentioned many times as well, is that startups in this particular industry are going to defy the normal trend or definition of how long a startup lasts for. Because it's a brand new technology field, startups are going to remain startups in this space for a lot longer. It's just going to be the nature of how quickly the technology develops and how much companies have to keep pivoting and moving. So the answer to the recruitment question is we don't ever know. And the rule of thumb for a startup, especially higher paced, is hire fast and fire faster. So if you've got people that don't acclimatize, our job is to look after the people. And if they're not performing well or not enjoying it, you should be removing the people because it's not good for all parties.
So I guess I'm okay right now, right?
Yeah, but you're a very good example of someone who's come from a regular structured company into a chaotic startup in a new technology field. And with all your wealth of experience and all the rest of it, would it be fair to assume that it's not easy for people coming into this space and into a company doing this much? It takes a long time to find your feet, right? And to get to a point where you think, I've found my groove.
It is different, but I think it's not about experience, about the wealth of experience or your skills and all that. I think it's more about attitude.
Yeah.
That's I think the differentiating factor. It's the attitude. You could have skilled people, but with the wrong attitude, they wouldn't flourish. That's my take on it. That's all.
No, it's a good. And what about you, Fadz? What would you say?
Yeah, I think I have to agree with Pete as well. I think a lot of potential candidates come with a wealth of experience, but they've reached a point in their career where going to the very chaotic world of startups may not be suitable to their mindset anymore. So if we do come across a lot of talent that basically have the right attitude, and I think that pool will only get bigger as more and more people get accustomed to developing on blockchain, as well as having a clear understanding of how to integrate brick and mortar businesses or traditional online businesses into the metaverse. Yeah, definitely more and more people will qualify to join our space. But at this point in time, I'm happy to see quite a lot of veterans come into the space with this kind of good attitude and very open to partnerships and doing things differently. So, yeah.
That's a good point. All right. So, any last questions before we go? Been a very casual chat tonight. I think that we've just timed our run wrong, because I think that you're going to want to have another one of these calls in the next 48 hours. When movie on RFOX Labs. Funny you should say that, George74. One of the companies that we worked with for the production of the ads has actually suggested that they keep saying that there'll be a movie made with what we've had to go through and what we've had to do and what's about to happen. So you never know.
Who's playing Pete? Brad Pitt?
No,
Who'd play
it's a bot.
Pete?
It's a bot.
It'll be interesting.
All they gotta do is make a robot, slap a pineapple on the robot, and you got Pete.
There's a very good chance. There's a very, very good chance that there'll be that there could be a like a little documentary, like a mini thing done on. There's a few people doing shows now on Australian companies that are making it overseas, especially if they're technology based and in Asia. So we've been asked a couple of times to do that, but not really interested in doing stuff that distracts us from what we're currently doing. Peter Garrett, yeah. Thanks, Z-Train. I get that quite a lot. Wade, in a previous company we worked in together when we worked at Virgin, actually told every single person in the Philippines that I was Peter Garrett, and we used to be in a band. And he used to play Midnight Oil Clips. He played Midnight Oil Clips, and every single person walked around the call center saying, "Hey, you're famous. I seen you dancing. You dance weird." And I'm saying, "That's not me."
Absolutely brilliant.
He's like 15 years older than me, and they all bought it. And I was like, I cannot ever get it undone. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me know when you want to do the Pete. Maybe we can ask them when we want to do the other call as well. Happy to do a market call, but like I say, you'll probably want to speak to us in the next 48 hours.
Yeah, I think Friday. I think Friday might be a good time for not that DGen call, but Friday. I think Friday we could probably have a short 30-minute session, impromptu one. But I'll check on your schedule, Benny. Otherwise, yeah, I'll look at your schedule.
And just the last thing I'll leave you with, we'll talk about that on Friday, but Plan B talks about 98k Bitcoin this month and 135 next month. We've been talking about this for months now. You know what that means. So have a good night, guys. Have a good week. Speak to you on Friday.